two things. One, we're going to look at, first, we're going to look at, this over here. We're going to look at how this compares to your original. And then I'm going to show you two things, right? Not just the CTAs, but what are some contributing factors to the conversions? It's not all about the copy. It's not all about the headline or CTAs. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So we're going to compare this one first. So if we look at, I have two screens, so my head's going to be shifting. I took some notes. So there's a couple of things we're looking at. If we're looking at this new page, I would say, looking at little things, right? I'm not going to obsess over the copy, which is, hey, John, you're a marketer, you're an established copywriter. You're not going to obsess over the copy for this. I'm not to only to an extent. See, we're looking at the headline. It's pretty good, right? It has a mechanism. So this test that you're looking at running is more of the traditional direct response style. It's almost a pattern interrupt, the shocking headline, the credibility, the universities. Then it goes down to, the unlikely discovery of the product. And then, the scare factor of the solution you thought was actually completely wrong, and, going down that route. It's kind of the traditional, video sales letter style, which still works fairly well. The style of copy and long form works pretty well. So we're going down, and it leads to, kind of the fear. It goes through the fear, the shock and awe, and then the story based, and it's kind of about you here. Then it goes to, deeper into your story, which goes back to the fear and the shock and awe. And then the end is the product reveal. So the whole premise behind this, right, is to have them go through the fear, the shock and awe, and understand the credibility and psychology behind the usefulness of your product, right? It's kind of positioning it, which works well. It's something that works really well in this industry. But, then it goes to the product reveal, which contains all the ingredients and why it's superior. So while this could probably be a very worthwhile test, which I recommend, you definitely should document the results from it for sure. There's a few things I wanted to point out, which I felt like were kind of against the grain. Against the grain in a few ways, right? Because a lot of copywriters, they could be right, in these industries, right this way. I used to do it many times over. Kind of switched to kind of a different style of copy for alternative health and wellness. But this style is more so, kind of the undermining, kind of against common knowledge. It's the style that's the pattern interrupt. What's the mechanism behind the new product? What makes it so special? Why is it so credible? So it's getting the audience to understand that and go through the route of, oh man, I'm just going through my day to day. What is this product? Oh man, it's really, it's really meant to improve my teeth. I'm just really confused now. I want to buy it. That's the whole premise of this style. And then this design, right? They won't be able to buy it till they get to the very bottom, which can work. But here's a very interesting caveat, right? And this is kind of more my specialization and kind of how I built, companies from the ground up, or help them get to, 6 to multiple 7 figures, and etc. Of course, you can do it many other ways, but this is more of the formulaic approach, the more very direct response, scientific advertising approach I like to take from, looking at your existing efforts and expanding and optimizing what really works. Deducting whether or not this is from a fear-based angle, or whether or not the new sales letter will perform better, or whether or not it's the CTAs. It's, experience can guess, but this is kind of the way I operate, and I'd love to show you how I do it and my thought process. My whole caveat and thought process is maximizing a few things: maximizing the amount of time we spend on copy, maximizing the amount of money and ROI you invest in marketing, maximizing your effort and bandwidth. right? Of course, experienced copywriters, there's people who write better than me, but it's not all about the copy, as I mentioned. So as you go through this, you'll kind of see, as we continue this, you'll kind of see what I mentioned. The last thing we want is maybe that new test is going to perform really well. But the last thing you want is to spend a bunch of time and money and try to make something work where it's not the copy that's the issue. What I'm trying to do here is help you come to the conclusion of where this is going and why, and how you can best handle it. So we're going to analyze the original one. So if we compare this, right, this is the best performing one, which is what you mentioned. So we look at the best performing one, and it's a totally different approach. So I can see why you want to test something against this one, because you want to test a totally different approach. But if we look at the original one, it takes a completely different approach in design, in flow, in copy, in a big idea, in the appeal, pretty much everything. So currently the best performing one, if we look at it, it's very product centric. So it emphasizes the benefits and the greatness of the product versus inferior products. That's pretty much it. So we look at the original. The product, best oral for your microbiome. This is the this right off the bat. This is the product. Hey, this is how it works, and this is the mechanism. First paragraph, go buy it. And we look in the middle. Then it's the problem solution, right? So it's what's better, it's very product centric. How's our product better? You go through the copy again. This is really good. The problem. And then this is why we're better. So again, problem, solution, product focused. We go through, same thing, right? Features, benefits, product. Buy, what do we have here? Features, benefits, product. What is this? Benefits, right? So this is dimensionalizing what the benefits are. What is the contrast to your alternatives? Basically, what are the consequences of not using it? What is this doing better than your competitors? And as you keep going, and as you see how kind of it emphasizes the products, how it emphasizes the product and the features and benefits, and you see how it discredits the alternative. So it positions itself against the competitors. You'll kind of see why going straight for the sale or straight for the call to action works here, especially if this is your best performer. So reverse engineering that, right? What it's showing here is, at least to me, is looking at what's proven to work. What's proven to work is quite a few things versus the test, right? So like I mentioned, if we stick to what's working, again, this is to help you come to your own conclusion of analyzing new tests. And I'll give you my feedback on a little more feedback on the new test in a sec. But if we're looking at this one, right? So what do we gather from this test? This is our best performer. People are responding to the product. We want to know how it looks. We want to know why it's great. How great is it? We don't care about the story. We don't care about the scientific background. How much is it? How does it work? Why is it superior? How much does it cost? That's it. And then that's the premise. And then, the great copy comes in afterwards. What is the unique problem this product solves? Sabotaging your oral microbiome. So they don't want all the scientific background here. At least that's not what's told from this control. This is your best performer. This means they don't want the scientific background. They don't need a bunch of backstory. They want to know superiority of the product. They want to see visuals. They want the price. And hey, maybe I'll buy it. That's all I need to know. See, okay, there's the backstory. This is great, right? People want to know about you, or they want to know about, Katie. They want to know about the origin of the product, but it's not the biggest selling point. It's just to emphasize the credibility. But as we continue, that's pretty much it, right? So scrolling back to the original, there's a lot of different elements we're testing in the original that are completely against the grain. I'm sorry, in the new one that are completely against the grain against the original. So circling back that to design wise, to call to action wise, and all that good stuff. The thing about that is this is a totally different angle, a totally different approach from a direct response tradition and copywriting standpoint. It may very well work, but this is, if this is what's proven to work, this is a big contrast against it. But looking at that from another perspective, if you're looking at call to action and the structure of the page, if not restructuring the offer, the test, the structure of the page, which is something I've had a lot of success with, is going down and adding certain call to actions with no price, with the buttons, maybe this picture of the product, and then no price. So they have to keep scrolling down to see the price, or if they scroll halfway and they see the button and they're sold, then hey, go click on it and just buy it. I don't need to read the rest of the copy. But if they're not, you go to the bottom and see the full call to action with all the prices and all that good stuff. But that's as far as I think it'll go in that extent of calls to action. I would recommend on this one, maybe put some more so like this, right? You already have them here. The vague calls to action with no price. So they just got to click on it to buy it. So if we're testing it in a visual design and a flow standpoint, I'd say put a call to action towards the middle of the page with no price, kind of vague, just a button, and then 3/4 down. And then at the bottom, have the full description and all the details. But from the description, this is going to be a new test in terms of the angle, the style, the copy, the approach. In terms of worrying about the call to action middle, I'd say put a vague one with no price, no thorough description or image of the product yet. And then as they go down, they have to scroll to the bottom to see the full picture, the full features and benefits, and then the price, and then the discounts and all that good stuff. So that's pretty much it. Going back to the original, the whole point is to test and find out which one's working the best, and then why. It's always great to test your control against other styles and the ones that work. And that's the whole premise of building the business, right? It's the stuff that works, that gives you a hint of how you speak to your audience in subject lines. The copy that works is how you speak to your audience in video scripts, and how you write Facebook ads, and how you create new products, and how you write emails to them and your videos and all that good stuff. So, an example is if you find out over and over that being product centric is how you convert and get more customers excited and buying, then you want to stay more product centric, features, benefits, etc. If you test and you find out this is more the angle that works, the fear, the scientific approach, the traditional shock and awe, the mechanism, the kind of complicated stuff, then you know that this is what they respond to. So maximizing what works, eliminating what doesn't. So again, the type of approach you continue with is up to you. Just I'm giving you my line of thinking, as well as the call to action, my recommendations. But good luck with this, Emily. The whole point is to kind of just go and see what works, and then use your best judgment off this. I know some of the other guys might have recommendations on the pricing or the style of the buttons and call to actions and all that stuff, but that's my recommendation, my point of view. And the whole point is to not go down this rabbit hole of testing a bunch of stuff and getting too lost in the copy, getting too lost in the design, getting too lost in the big idea. Is the headline? Is it the storyline? Is it the character? Is it the mechanism? Is it the credibility? At the same time, it could just be what I just mentioned. What is your audience responding to and why? And then you go from there. Hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have questions.
Hey, it's John Reyes here, and I don't know if you've been checking out a bunch of my other videos. I highly encourage you to. Been crushing, bunch of high-level copy critiques, helping people boost their conversions, closing big deals. Doing it big, the whole consulting and revamping and improving sales pages, ads, emails, everything in between. go ahead and review this one. This is not just fluff or teaching. This is stuff I've actually done or implemented, or I've taught teams to implement, and we've seen measurable increases. Some of it is based on previous experience. Some of it actually did on my own. Some of it I created and sent to teams. So go ahead and check out today's video. And don't forget to take everything you learn, implement it and see how much you can apply, you learn, revisit, and absorb all the great stuff here. If there's any issues, or if you ever want to learn more or understand more about the high level thinking of direct response copy, marketing, influencer marketing, or building up any brand, from beginner, intermediate to advanced level entrepreneurs in the influencer, consulting, coaching, and thought leader space, then go to copyblueprints.com or email john@copyblueprints.com, JON@copyblueprints.com. All the info is below, but for now, take everything in this video and absorb it. Take it. It's all yours. This is stuff clients pay me pretty well for, same with their teams, and all that good stuff in between. Don't underestimate the value of free stuff. Enjoy.